Welcome to the debate. Usually a devastating heartbreak song relies on, a massive wailing vocal climax to tell you exactly how to feel.
Right. They usually want to spoon feed you the emotion. But today, we are looking at a track that destroys you by, well, barely speaking above a whisper. The song is Entre Nós Dois.
Exactly. It is this really beautiful duet that blends sertanejo, think Brazilian country music, with the harmonic complexity of MPB, which is traditional Brazilian popular music.
It is a stunning blend, honestly.
It really is. So our central question today is, does the song's profound emotional power stem from its intimate conversational vocal restraint, or is its impact actually driven by its carefully orchestrated instrumental escalation? I argue the track's brilliance lies entirely in its fragile vocal minimalism.
And I take the stance that the true emotional engine of this track isn't in those whispered lyrics at all. I mean, it is the evolving musical arrangement beneath them that actually dictates the narrative tension.
Well, to understand why the vocal delivery is the true centerpiece, you kind of have to look at how it deliberately starves the listener of a typical pop release. The lyrics are hesitant. They are almost fractured.
Yeah, they really are.
Right? We hear these incredibly simple lines like, "You arrived, everything changed." And just, why? The production here is remarkably dry and close-mic'd, so that refusing to give us a soaring vocal crescendo, the song forces the listener into a painfully realistic dialogue.
Interesting.
The characters are terrified to speak their feelings out loud. And that grounded country-style storytelling constraint is, what creates that suffocating tension.
I mean, the vocals absolutely project fear and hesitation. I will give you that. But they aren't generating the tension. The arrangement is doing that heavy lifting. Think about how the instrumentation operates, like this creeping tide.
A creeping tide.
Yeah, exactly. We start at a very deliberate 72 beats per minute, which is roughly a resting human heartbeat. It opens in a warm G major with solo acoustic fingerpicking, which kind of lulls you into a false sense of security.
Right. It feels very safe at first.
But as that melodic bass drops in during verse 1 and delicate piano chords layer into verse 2, it creates a rising tide of anxiety. The musical progression is manufacturing the psychological weight long before the singers even reach the bridge.
I hear you on the layering, definitely. But I would argue the arrangement functions merely as an empty room.
How so?
Well, the music sets up the four walls, but because it is so sparse, just that subtle country piano or a light slide guitar accent, it makes a pin drop feel monumental. Look at the pivotal lyric, "Silence says everything."
Right, a great line.
The instrumentation pulls back so drastically there that it forces us to focus on the pauses, the unspoken tension, and the actual sound of two people sharing physical space. Until they sing, "We breathe together." The music's greatest triumph is just getting out of the way of the human voices.
But it doesn't get out of the way. I mean, that silence is a complete illusion. Precisely when the singers claim silence says everything, what actually happens?
The band comes in, sure.
Exactly. The full band kicks in. Soft drums enter, the male and female vocals overlap in harmony, and the MPB-style instrumentation suddenly expands. The brilliance of that moment is that the music actively speaks the emotions these two characters are too paralyzed to voice.
Oh, wow.
Right? The band purposefully interrupts the lyric about silence because the underlying feelings just cannot be contained anymore.
The band certainly enters, but even in that moment, the climax remains incredibly restrained. The electric guitar provides melodic fills, sure, but it never overpowers that fragile conversational delivery.
That is true. It stays balanced.
Yeah, the singers are still just asking, is this dangerous? If the track truly relied on the instrumental build for its emotional payload, we would get a massive wall of sound crescendo. Instead, the production keeps us trapped right next to their breathing.
The intimacy stays, yes, but the contrast between those elements is the actual engine of the song's melancholic mood. You have these two hesitant voices locked in a paralyzed dialogue, representing their fear. Meanwhile, underneath them, the electric guitar and warm bass are constantly pushing forward, swelling and evolving. The vocals are the resistance, the arrangement is the magnetic pull drawing them together, whether they like it or not.
That tension between resistance and pull is, well, it is definitely the core of the song's atmosphere. I look at it and see the track's strength rooted in that intimate vocal fragility, the stark country storytelling tradition doing the emotional work.
And I view that dynamic evolving MPB arrangement as the true storyteller, bridging the gap between those hesitant pauses. But I think we both clearly agree that this specific synthesis of genres creates something undeniably profound.
We certainly do. So, to our listeners, go put on Entre Nós Dois. Pay attention to those subtle musical shifts. Listen closely to the space between the words, and interpret that unspoken tension for yourselves in the comments. Step into that room with them and see if you feel the rising tide.